guys, welcome to another video. As you can see by the title, this one is about pain and grief and suffering. And it's gonna be a little more serious of a video, but definitely have my lighthearted charm to it. Charm? Pain and grief are something that, for me, I've dealt with a lot. After I got sick, okay, so some people ask me about that because they're like, you refer to it as like after you got sick, but EDS is genetic, like you were born with it, so how can you say like you weren't sick and now you are? And to that I say, I was not always disabled. I was not always in constant pain. Like, I lived a pretty normal childhood. Like, I had some issues, like I had a growth disorder. I couldn't grow. I mean, I still was sick, but I was functional. Functional enough to ignore it. And like, especially like when I was out with my friends, like I could just ignore it. And it got to a point where I couldn't do that anymore. And I got like so sick that I couldn't go to school, and I have tubes and everything. Like that's when I really say like I got sick, was in like 12, 13-ish, I started to get sick. And that's pretty common for EDS anyways. But so when that happened, a lot of the stuff that I used to be able to do, I couldn't anymore. Like, I used to be a dancer and a figure skater, and I was in show choir, and we like traveled and competed, and it was really fun. Like, I was a really active kid. I used to go camping every weekend at like a certain place, and swimming all summer long. Like, I was really active. And once I got older, my joints started to get weaker because of the EDS, and so I started having more dislocations and more pain, and I learned I wasn't really able to do the things I was before. And I mean, eventually it got to a point, like, this is skipping through so fast, but eventually it got to the point where I am now, where, and I've been like this for a while, but where I'm so weak and I'm so, I don't want to say so sick, but like, there's so many things health-wise that are going on that I couldn't do any of that stuff anymore. Like, I had to say goodbye to figure skating first, and then I had to stop going to school, and then I had to say goodbye to show choir, and then I had to say goodbye to choir and like all these other things, until eventually my entire life that I had before I got really sick was gone. Like, I didn't even know who I was anymore. If you were to ask me when I was younger, before I got super sick, like, tell me a little bit about yourself, I'd be like, hi. I'd introduce myself and I'd be like, I'm a figure skater, I'm a dancer. Like, I thrived off of those things. And when they were all taken from me, and I say taken from me, like, it wasn't anybody's fault. It's not like anybody made me quit. But like, my body took them from me, if that makes sense. My health took them from me. I didn't even know who I was. Like, I felt like I had nothing left. And I mean, that's a horrible way of thinking, and it's not correct, but that's how I felt at the time. And I had to go through this period of mourning and grief. Okay, it's going. Editing me here, just wanted to pop in and say something quick. I need to add in that not only did I lose all of those activities, like dancing and figure skating and everything like that, and school, but I also lost my friends. I lost the ability to eat, the ability to walk without pain, just my strength. Like, in this video, I talked more about like the loss and the grief of like activities, but in the midst of that, I was dealing with the loss of like my healthy body too, if that makes sense. So it wasn't just like dancing and friends and figure skating. It was my body. Like, so I would sit there and think back to my healthier life
and all of those activities, but also like just remembering skating, remembering the way that it felt on my legs and the way that my feet felt when you landed a perfect jump and outstretched your arms, and just the free feeling of being on the ice with like the cold air, and but also remembering when I could eat, remembering when I didn't have a tube stuck in my abdomen or up my nose, remembering when I didn't, remembering the time where the first thing I did in the morning wasn't put my hips back into place. Like, it wasn't just activities, it was so much more than that. And so I wanted to come on and clarify that it wasn't just those things that I was grieving, it was my health too. And yeah, okay. Enjoy the rest of the video.
And it's something that I've always wanted to elaborate on because so many people don't necessarily understand what I mean when I say, like, you have to grieve your healthy life. Because at least for me, like, I could get better, my stuff could improve, but EDS will never go away. It's genetic. It's in my genes. I was born with it. I can't get rid of it. It won't just go away. I mean, my symptoms could get better or get worse, I don't know, but this is my life now, and I don't know that it'll be like this forever, but for now, like, this is my reality, and I had to learn to accept that, but I couldn't really do that until I let go of my old life. And it was one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do. Like, for probably a good year, I barely got out of bed, and the majority of that was because of my health stuff, but also because I didn't even really feel like I had a reason to get out of bed anymore. And I was just in so much pain. I'm like, who cares? Like, why would I get out of bed? I have nothing to go do. And I mean, I was so lonely and just heartbroken, and the thought of being sick was just crushing to me. Like, I hated it so much that I got really depressed, and I just didn't do anything. And eventually I just realized, like, this is my life now. And sure, like, it reminds me of the quote by Helen Keller. Like, I don't remember exactly what it says, but like, sure, I can't do those things anymore, but I can still do things that I like. Like, I just have to do different things. And just like grief or mourning of a loved one, like, say somebody close to you passed away or died. Passed away or died is the same thing. Say somebody like close to you died. You're gonna grieve, oh my gosh, I can't speak. You're gonna grieve for that person. You're gonna mourn, and that's normal. But that mourning process doesn't last forever. Eventually, you're able to kind of resume with your life. And it doesn't mean that you never miss them. Like, and it doesn't mean that the grief is just gone. Like, it never really goes away. Even now, I'll have days where I just want to break down and cry because of the reality of the fact that I still miss figure skating. I still miss dancing. I still miss show choir and going to school. Okay, I don't actually miss going to school that much, but I just like with anything else, grief comes in waves, and some days are harder than others. Grief with a chronic illness is just a different kind of grief, and I've always wanted to elaborate on it with you guys, but I've never really known how. And even now, I'm struggling to find the words to describe it right. But I guess it's harder because, like, for me personally, we have a pond in our backyard. So, like, I would go figure skate on there all the time in the winter because the ice freezes here in Minnesota. And now every day I have to go look at that pond. And for a while, I almost couldn't. Like, I had to because I had no choice, but I wished that I didn't have to look at it because it just made me so sad. Like, it seems like it's so close yet so far, and it seems unfair. Like, so much about this is unfair, but losing the things that I loved seemed the most unfair because, like, I didn't choose this. And especially when I had to watch the people that I loved continue to do the things that I couldn't, that was heartbreaking. And eventually I did get through that. Like, I am happy now. I have things that I love to do. I make videos, I do art, I do a ton of other things that I enjoy. It's different too for somebody who was born with a chronic illness that, like, disabled them, because they grew up that way. That's all they've ever known. But for a lot of us, this isn't all we've ever known. And in comparison between the life that I used to live and this life, like, this is a lot better. And so it makes it really hard. But I just want you to know that it is okay to grieve your old life. It is healthy to grieve your old life. But that grieving process shouldn't last forever. And I'm not saying that you'll never feel that way. I feel that way sometimes too. But find the things in your life that make you happy. Find the things in your life that give you joy now. And it's so hard in the midst of that grief to even think that you'll find anything close to what you used to have. But you will. You will find things. And for me, like, it's not the case for everybody, but for me, honestly, I'm a better person because of this. And because of the fact that I lost all those things, I'm a better person because of it. And it's not forever. That grieving process is normal. But eventually you come to a point where you just have to open your eyes again. Stop closing your eyes and imagining the life that you used to have, and open your eyes and see just how great life can be now if you choose it. If you choose for it to be. If you choose to find the joy. If you choose to put effort into finding things that you liked. That was another thing that was hard for me, is I didn't even want to try. I was like, no thanks. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But in reality, that's how you learn. Like, that's how you move on. That's trying new things is how you find what you love now. And it's a hard, long process, and it looks different for everybody. Some people might not have lost something like that, so they don't have that same kind of grief. Other people, I don't know. It's different for everybody. It's just different. And this video is probably a rambling mess because, once again, I'm not editing it. And I'm really just trying to find the right words, but I felt like it was on my heart today to tell you guys that even if you're disabled, even if you're sick, you just have to learn to live your life differently. But I promise you, it will be worth it, and you're not going to be sad forever. If you guys can relate, not only am I really sorry, but I hope that this could give you a little bit of encouragement, whether you're on the other side of that grief, or whether you're just starting that whole process, or whether you are trying to come out of it. No matter where you are in that process, it's okay. My brother came in. But I hope this could give you a little bit of encouragement. So, alright. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!